Live from Coral Springs, Florida, it's the winner take all one-game playoff. And starting out the 8 and 9 games, the Tennessee Volunteers against the Kennesaw State Owls. Live from Coral Springs, the mezzanine rink, Devin Sever alongside Gavin Coker. So happy to bring you all this penultimate tournament for the conference. And Gavin, these are sides that have had tumultuous years, to say the least. Tennessee riding 3 straight wins coming into this weekend. Kennesaw State has had a resurgence team. It is quite the matchup to have in an 8 and 9.
Yeah, this one's going to be exciting, Devin. Tennessee, you mentioned it, coming in hot, 3 straight wins, 2 over a playoff team in Clemson. And Kennesaw State probably had the biggest story of the second half of the season, sweeping South Carolina, which caused them to drop in the rankings, KSU to move up in the playoff rankings. So a lot to be desired between these two sides, and it's going to be an exciting one as we get ready for what is our 3rd game of the N3 playoffs.
And the Owls have won 8 of their last 9, including Austin Peay domination, 22-1, 12-1. They beat an M2 Georgia Tech team. That's certainly things for them that have gone all kinds of right. We're going to talk about their additions. But for you, what is one player on each side that you're focusing on in this playoff game?
One guy you've got to watch for Kennesaw, Evan Pritchard. They brought in a goaltender, and he's excelled so far this season. He's 6-0 since joining Kennesaw. Has the leading ERA among goaltenders in M3 that have played under 10 games and leads the league in save percentage currently among all goaltenders across all divisions. So super strong player for the Owls. For Tennessee, you've got to look at Benjamin Falaki. He's done a great job for them. It's his 2nd season. He's got 8 goals, 5 assists, 13 points on the year in just 14 games played. So just under a point per game, but there's a chance for him to excel in this game.
Head coach Kenny Richter told us about Faliki being an X factor. He has to be good along with his top guys to have a chance at matching Kennesaw State team that beat them 6-2 back in the first semester. All right, Gavin, final thoughts. 3 keys for us to get going in this playoff game for both.
KSU has to play their lockdown defense. We've seen it a lot. They've kept teams to low amounts of goals. That's going to be the key against a really strong offense that for Tennessee has had 5 to 6 goal games the last couple of games, especially against a strong Clemson team. Second key is Evan Pritchard. He's got to get comfortable in his crease. KSU's got to allow him to get going. And third, Ben Falaki was missing in that last game that the Ice Wolves played against KSU, so he's got to get going early, allow the team to get rolling, get some momentum early in this one if they're going to have a chance to come out and win this game.
Well, there you have it. We are just about ready to go. From the mezzanine rink, KSU will go from right to left in those black sweaters. The Tennessee Volunteers in their orange, and we will bring you the starting lineups rinkside and the national anthem before this 8 and 9 seed contest.
Good afternoon, fans. Welcome to Panthers IceDen for this afternoon matchup between Tennessee
And now let's take a look at the goaltending matchups for the two sides. Will Shine in the net for the Ice Wolves. It's 3-1 on the year, 370 goals against average with an 891 save percentage, has a shutout on the year. And in the net for Kennesaw State, Evan Pritchard mentioned it, 6-0 on the year, 143 goals against average, 949 save percentage, and it has even tallied an assist on the season. So setting up goal scoring and stopping goals from finding the back of the net.
Thank you, Gavin. Starting lineups for first the Kennesaw State Owls. They turn to their hardy top line. Reese Legault, been terrific, alongside James Gravis and Will Costin, the most assists on their team with 30. Jonathan Shaw, the newcomer ACHA M1 Rhode Island product, alongside the alternate captain Christian Sousa. And for the Tennessee Volunteers, boy, they have had quite the lineup stir entering this game. Michael McLaury alongside Joseph Dotterer and Connor Berry and company. We are underway in this playoff game from Coral Springs. First shot of the game, stopped to the left pad by Shine. Sheen, 3-1-0 this year, as Gavin mentioned. And Kennesaw State comes in as the favorites because of their second half this year. Tennessee head coach Kennedy Richter told us we have got to start good. We have not been great in the first games of semesters this season, and it's really a win or go home situation. Dumped into the zone by the first line change of the game for Costin. Replaced off the pads once more of Sheen, and play is stopped. So, Gavin, you talked about both sides, and really the key for Kennesaw State was their defense. As said by their head coach, Kyle Stevenson. How could I forget a guy like that? One of the Coach of the Year candidates has talked about his defense need to be good versus Tennessee speed.
Yeah, Tennessee is a good team, got a lot of speed up front in those top two lines. Kennesaw is going to have to find a way to keep players out wide, not allow them to get into the high danger areas, and find ways to put pucks in the back of the net using that speed.
And Tennessee having a trouble getting out of their own zone. They will find a way to break it out now across the line. It comes to William Sherba. Gets towards the net. That one steered to the near half boards. And now players and company join. This one's taken by Kuhn. Caleb Keene, rather. And dumped into the zone once more. Sherba going off. Kennesaw State gets to work against Tennessee in their own zone. Steered away and carried out by Ashton Nolte out of Marietta, Georgia. He was all alone and stripped from Sherba. Left wing connects onside. First one gobbled up by the newcomer Evan Pritchard. Roswell, Georgia native, as Gavin mentioned, has been undefeated in his tenure with the Ice Owls. Product of the AA program, the Atlanta Fire. Boy, 6'3" and all. Kyle Stevenson says it's his size that really has been the difference for them in net.
Yeah, and his defense helps out a lot too. They allow him to see that shot there, make a big save, and get the whistle.
It's going to be a big test to see how his defense clears the lanes. First intermediate pause of this one. Kyle Stevenson getting an explanation from the head official here. We get signaled back to play. First 2 minutes, Devin Sarah, Gavin Coker with you. Berry from the point, steered it wide. Behind the net, getting to the work. It's Herman. To the near boards, Chris Scott. And from the far point, it's sent out by Kennesaw State. Now, they have been one of the best teams this year at preventing sustained pressure. That's been part of their success in this second semester. It really starts with that blue line, as you mentioned, Jonathan Shaw, Christian Sousa, but they have added a lot of depth this year. Bradley Burton, Ty Johnson, some more names to watch on that blue line for the team in black. From the point, that one steered wide, trying to tip it in front, unsuccessful with Scott for the Owls. Out of the zone, Tennessee, a much-needed line change after that pressure. From the boards, up for grabs inside the line, and it's dumped back in emphatically by Felicki going off. Up to the line, Kuhn holds it in, O'Donnell out from the blue line. Chipped up the glass. Up but not out for Hudson Bashkin. Stolen away. They're racing from these near boards. There's Benoit getting knocked over. Hudson Bashkin in deep to his own zone. Some more clamoring going on this near side. We want to steer it to the front of the net, and it's directed out. Carried by the Ice Owls Bannister. They smash into the end boards in Tennessee's own zone. And from the red line, it's sent out. Feels like a lot of still feeling out for both these sides without a high danger chance, Gavin.
Yeah, and that's a credit to both teams' defense. I mentioned it. You get in that danger zone and the chances of scoring go up drastically if you get into the slot, as there's a save there.
Trickles in from Reese Legault, trying to bang it home on Will Sheen, unsuccessful. And a lot of what Tennessee's product has had to do today is, for that netminder, they have a lot of forwards that are playing back on defense entering this game. You talk about their top groups that have to get going for them in this game. Dylan Siegel, you'll see him sometimes having to play back at defense just for the fact that they have not had a great puck carrying ability at their defensive line, and that's forcing some of them to play 4 or 5 lines of forwards. 5 players on the ice as forwards.
Yeah, and KSU doesn't have that problem on the other side. They've got a guy like Christian Sousa, October 2nd star of the month. Didn't have a goal, tallied 9 assists, so he's not afraid to carry the puck, distribute the puck, and find ways to get KSU on the board.
That one stung off the back glass from the end board and out of play. And absolutely, a lot of the big problems for this team has just been their ability to not let things snowball. Early part of the season, Tennessee really felt the pressure, from a series of better teams, and they've been better as of late, to their credit. The last 3, including a good series with Clemson. Here's Siegel, their leading scorer, onside to the middle. That jam from the defense. They got a shot anyway towards Pritchard, and that was steered aside. On top of it, head pass connects to the net, and Shine gobbles it up with no rebound given up.
Yeah, good drive to the net there by KSU. Getting the shot off. Jonathan Shaw mentioned one of those new additions and drives right down, gets a shot, but Sheen making a big save.
15-14 to go in this first period. From the blue line. And the Vols have it for a breakout started. Robert Kane. Stumped in deeper. Earned around the far side. Smashing hit. Nolte finishing it. Trying to hold in was Sherba. Once more. Steered as a redirection on Pritchard. Was knocked free to the end boards. They fight for it behind the goal. Moved along by Bradley Burton. Held up by Turgeon. It's up to the points. Not out. Pritchard says no with the left pad. Played off the glass. Stolen again. Good pressure. Tennessee scores. From the right wing, Christopher Free. Jammed it short side.
And that's one of those 4 players that Coach Kenny Richter talked about. If they can get them going, Tennessee's going to have a good chance to advance in this one. And they take advantage of some sustained pressure and find one in the back of the net. A good play by Christopher Free, getting the shot from that right corner.
And still without a lot of pressure, still made that happen. Pritchard, Kennesaw State had a tough time clearing their own zone. So it's 1-0 Tennessee off Christopher Free unofficially. But all that matters, the team in orange. And Kenny Richter talked about having to get a good start, and they have it against the Kennesaw State team that is red hot right now. They start the breakout. Good tip on side by Chris Scott. He'll dive. Entering from the forward is Bashkin. Will send one towards net, steered aside by Shine. In the middle, kept along by Pecora. Transfer from Florida Atlantic a season ago. Barry for the Vols. Is nearly stripped. Owen Foster all over him. From the point, redirection. Off the chest protector, that time of Shine. And the Vols are out. Lone man to carry for them with Felicki.
And that's what we mentioned that you expect to see out of Christian Sousa. Sousa firing a shot from the blue line, trying to get a redirection, not afraid to shoot the puck. And he had some heat on that one.
We got official confirmation the goal was Seth Hagen. Well, instead of Christopher Free, is that one sent one more time on net. And this one's gobbled up by Pritchard.
With Robert Kane and William Skirba getting assist on that goal.
Evidently, the live scoring makes a big difference. Well, if you're following this on YouTube or online, thanks to the College Hockey South staff, live scoring, pretty revolutionary. Here we go, 2-on-1 for the Owls if they in front of the net, and just too far away for the forward defenseman, Ty Johnston. Right wing chance to the net, and that hit a body in front and went wide. That was from Christian Sousa. Their defenseman, alternate captain. Also a guest on the College Hockey South podcast a number of weeks ago. Told us about this turnaround. 12:10 to go in this first. Tennessee up 1-0. Turnaround in front. And an opportunity for Reese Legault is squared away. But we've got a stoppage of play.
And net comes off, so no change for Tennessee. And you mentioned Christian Sousa on the podcast. Also mentioned something about being a pretty great Mario Kart player. It said he was one of the best in CHS, so we'll have to find a way to test that. But so far, having a good game on the ice.
It made its rounds. Challenged us to get a projector going in the gymnasium that sits between the stadium rink and the mezzanine rink here. I'd say if they're here for a couple of days, then maybe it'd be worth it. Obviously, step one, just get yourself back even in this game. So 12:04 left in the first. We're going to get a draw to the left of Will Shine out of Kensington, Maryland. Backwards hit. James Kravis getting involved. Their hardy captain, Lawrenceville, Georgia. And it's played out of the glass. And you'll see Kravis possibly taking his faceoff circle. You know, the great advanced analytics, I guess we'll call them, that Kennesaw State provides. All these kinds of line charts produced with Jeff Sousa, their assistant coach. And you know what? They told us he has a 68% face-off win probability, or success rate, rather. So here he is, taking the face-off draw, and what do you know? He wins another one. Make that maybe 69%. I don't know. I don't want to say that word too fast. There's a chance off the right blocker. The job by Shine to stood up the Captain Kravis. Whoa, look at that. Tennessee player caught his own stick in the air. That was Christopher Free.
Who says hockey players aren't jugglers, Devin?
Right. Here's a chance. Kravis looking for the redirection in front, steered wide of goal. Connor Berry to the opposite zone. Pritchard leaves it there for Legault. We get after. Backtracking him is Jonathan Shaw, number 4 in black. Stolen emphatically by Siegel. And finishes it on Shaw. So Tennessee matching the intensity in the first 10 minutes. Exactly the start you want to see if you're a fan of the team in orange. Kenny Richter, assistant coach Michael Reed. Behind the goal they play it. Try to center it out in front. Nobody there except for a black sweater and Kravis. He'll turn away from defenders. Head pass. Gets it ahead for Costin, who stood up at the blue line. Gets onside with Legault. Top line back out there for Kennesaw State. He's stripped by Caleb Keene.
And Legault's a guy Kenny Richter said they wanted to keep an eye on. Had a hat trick in that 6-2 win versus Tennessee the last time these two teams met.
Yeah, and that was a second period that got away from the Vols. Start of the period, they took a penalty, and power play goal just led to a snowball effect. Kennesaw State would run away with that in the end, and Kenny Richter told us that was maybe the most unprepared game they had all season. He's a chance in front at point blank, and a great play defensively made by the forward there for Kennesaw State on Robert Kane. I believe that was getting in front of his stick. Cooper Lundberg. Good to see the winger junior get back into play. Newcomer to this team as well. One of the 4 additions in the second semester. From the point. Kennesaw State, who's had trouble getting out of their own zone. A fine job by Lundberg to steer it away. He'll play D-to-D. Ty Johnston from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Pursued. Too strong. Overskating the puck was Lundberg. And it's put back in by Felicki.
KSU struggled to get through the neutral zone with possession and move it deep on the ice walls. You have to get into the neutral zone, maybe dump and chase for a little bit, find a way to get some offensive zone time.
Right wing. That's a glove save for Pritchard. And for Kennesaw State, they really don't have to rely normally on a dump and chase style. Normally, they're really good at it. Christian Sousa, they have the ability to forecheck like nobody else in this team. All we've known about them forever is their ability to forecheck and press guys, and that's what you see guys like Kravis do a lot.
Yeah, and it's been a product of Tennessee, just good team defense, not allowing forechecking, which is what sets up a lot of those Kennesaw State goals when they can get moving around in the zone.
Team in orange is matching their intensity right now. There's space for Joseph Alvarez. He stood up at the blue line. Smashing check. William Sherba getting in his way. From the Panthers logo. Into the legs of Bashkin. And he'll cut it back into the opposite zone. They're going to call this an icing. And Bashkin doesn't like it. He was right at the red line. Close call there. Still 1-0. Seth Hagen from Robert Kane and William Sherba. A lot of the pressure has been on Pritchard to start this period. Good faceoff win for Tennessee. Puck knocked down in front. An opportunity on the backhand. Another block. Stepping into that puck was Bashkin on the backhand. Benoit to the net. Knocked down by Pritchard. And carried for a dump in. That's going to be another icing against Kennesaw State here.
And the pressure of the Ice Vols starting to catch up to Kennesaw. Get a little sloppy in the D zone with the puck. Got to find a way to calm it down and just make good passes with the puck.
Yeah, their X factors are getting involved early. Dotterer, Felicki, Siegel for Tennessee. Richter said it feels like we win or lose based on how our top dogs play, and right now they're bringing it in this early first from behind the net. Played by Vincent Barba. After retreat, Barry put it off the penalty box doors. Re-entering the zone is Connor Benoit. Neutral zone play. Tennessee with fresh line changes. Bannister heads deeper to the zone. At the point, trying to hold it in. Sousa unsuccessful. With speed, here comes Dotterer. Right wing, he's all alone. Want to get it out in front. Siegel, and just barely offside, getting there late, was Caleb Keene.
Yeah, tried to get moving, tried to keep that one in, using the speed that we've talked about and just not able to get there.
Good face-off win for Kravis. We talked about being good in the dots. We get a zone entry, not before Tennessee calmly takes it back away. with numbers. Right wing in front to the net. Steered away. Jonathan Shaw getting in the passing lane. To the middle once again, number 4 in black. 25 years of age. He is an exceptional player, former alternate captain at Rhode Island. A strip steal. Reese Legault answers. It's 1-1.
And that's a guy. Kenny Richter said they got to watch him, and that's why. Stole the puck away, took no time taking it up ice, and gets it on the glove side, beating Sheen.
The leading scorer for the Owls this year gets it done out of Livonia, Georgia. It was a great product for the Nashville Junior Predators. Over 170 games with that program. And simply put, their head coach, Kyle Stevenson, told us he is the guy we rely on. Does it to answer. Second half of this first period. The Owls might have some more momentum now on their side. This one is carried by Costin. 30 assists this year. To the middle, turnaround shot. Sticked aside by Shine. And the captain, Kravis, will go off for a quick change. Ice Foles forced to dump the puck, and that's an icing back to their own zone.
And that goal by the Owls already showing up in the game. They feel they've got the momentum, and they're keeping their foot on the gas.
An excellent start to really we've complimented Tennessee, carrying most of the puck possession and having the zone, but these Owls, with their top guy, making life difficult as of late. At the point, unable to hold it in was Burton. Bulls are offside, just a hair too far ahead of the play. And so, Gavin, when you see how these teams now get settled in and play, what do you think Tennessee does so well to match that defensive prowess we've known from Kennesaw State?
They do a good job entering the zone with that speed that you've talked about. They drive hard out to the corners and then allow the D to get to the point and allows that cycle to move. When you get in deep into the zone, you allow a pass back to the blue line, and that allows some passing, and you allow to run some set plays, if you will.
It's not so maybe they've been accustomed to against this Owl team. It felt like, talking to Kenny Richter, they did a lot of chasing when they lost in that 6-2 game earlier this year. They have a structured play as of late. 5:10 to go. Devin Sarah, Gavin Coker with you from the Panthers IceDen, Coral Springs, Florida. Nice head pass in front. Scoring chance negated and cleared out of the zone for Bashkin. Near break comes to the net. Backhand stopped by Shine. Breaking in that time was Chris Scott. And the Vols trying to generate a counterattack. Here comes McLaury, right wing. Put through the crease and wide. Steered in front, and the backhand wouldn't go for Felicki. This one sent on Pritchard again. He'll stick save it. 3-on-2 could develop if the Owls hurried. It'll be handled by Pecora towards the net, and Shine's got it with a glove down.
Yeah, tried to get a puck on net there, and it's one of the cliches of hockey. You just put pucks on net, hope for rebounds, and that's what the Owls were looking for there. And Sheen made no mistake making that save.
Yeah, some good transition work. You see that often with the trailing winger. When one player generates a scoring chance, you kind of have players already behind, so you can have a counterattack. Right now, you're seeing that evident as Reese Legault has the most recent goal for the Owls. And such a good player down the stretch. I think his story a bit overshadowed by some of the new additions. But without Sebastian Zamborski for the rest of the year, one of their leading scorers and an all-conference first-team player last year, they really needed someone to replace him. And they have that and more, poking in on the net all the way. Wow. I believe that was Max Campo trying to get towards Pritchard. Cutting through defenders. Here's a chance right wing for O'Donnell. Played up the glass. The Owls are stood up their own blue line. A pesky forward. Connor Benoit making life difficult. They have to steer it D to D. Alvarez in the middle, turned over to Siegel. Hopping with a lane, trailing back, Benoit. Benoit to the outside. Tried to make a move, and he was stripped by Bashkin. In the middle of the ice. Trickles in once more on the Owls netminder Pritchard. 3:17 to go in this first. Lena Kay, our great camera woman. Producer Danny Bohm. The Dream Team is back. We're missing Charlie Serafian, unfortunately, scheduled to be on this game. His flight got delayed, but gives an opportunity for Gavin Coker to step in. Great job calling that Tampa Embry-Riddle game. 5-1 victory for the Spartans.
And we've seen some big gaps in the scores, but not in this one yet. Still tight scoring, and UCF Alabama finished on this rink before, a 9-2 victory for UCF.
Yeah, just a dominating performance. Alabama, of course, with Taggett, CHS European All-Star goaltender, just couldn't do enough. Tough end for the Crimson Tide, who had a really good second half. Great strength of schedule, but the first team of two to fall in this tournament alongside Embry-Riddle. It's tipped at the red line. Good job by Pecora to get off after that play. Here's Costin at the logo. Backing up. Costin assisted on Legault's latest goal. He's got a chance in front looking for him. And Legault. That puck was denied. Great glove stop by William Shine.
Yeah, he's already looking for more. Had the hat trick in the first one, has one in this one. And he's a threat to score every time he hops over the boards. And that's what Richter meant when he had them circled on the lineup sheet. It's a guy you've got to watch for the Owls.
Yeah, and this Tennessee group has having to do a little bit of line matching. They can get their top guys out there, but they really need a defensive group with guys like Robert Kane there. This is Jonathan Shaw. Ahead, Kravis. They switch places. Legault in the middle, towards the net, looking for the tip, and got behind the puck. 1:50 left in the period to play. Christopher Alberts in the middle, steered aside by Pritchard. Kravis, with help from Legault, move it out. Tipped in a race for icing. Costin will get there first. He's got Kravis in front of the net. Trailing forward, Shaw comes. That one off the post. Action-packed sequence. They all jam for it at the Tennessee blue line. It's Kravis that comes away for Costin. Back in through the middle and trickled through the legs of Lundberg. Towards the net one more time. Looking for the jam was Legault, unsuccessful. Play out of the glass. And boy, Tennessee, you can feel the momentum shifting right now, Gavin. They are now on the burner.
Yeah, let's start it back with that 2-on-1. James Kravis and Reese Legault. That's the second time that Tennessee's given one up this period. And eventually that's going to find Legault's stick and end up in the back of the net. So you've got to find a way to stop allowing these 2-on-1 opportunities if you're Tennessee.
Getting aggressive on the forecheck. We've seen them right here trying to win races, and it's cost them at times. Robert Schutt stood up at the center ice by Dotterer. He'll enter. Played off the skates of an Owl defender, Felicki. Back to the ice. Coming in off the end was Dotterer. Play is whistled dead after an icing. Or offside, excuse me. Still without a penalty in this game. Knock on wood at home. 33 seconds left in the period. And if you're Tennessee here, you got to find a way to simply keep Owls at bay, who have had a lot of rush opportunities the last couple of minutes. One more dump into the zone. Here comes Nolte. Backing up. Big hit laid out by Robert Schutt. From the near corner. They all dig for it in our obscured view. Owls come free forward in front, trying to get it for Nolte. On the opposite wing there is Burton. They find space. Nice moves. Trying to dangle. Dotterer got in the way. 1 second left, and that's it. So after an emphatic start for the Vols by Seth Hagen from Robert Kane and William Shirba, it's Reese Legault. The X Factor for Kennesaw State cashes in from Will Costin. We'll rejoin you in 15 minutes' time. You're watching Tennessee and Kennesaw State live from College Hockey South Playoffs on YouTube. Back with you for the start of the second in a 1-1 playoff game. Seth Hagen got it started for the Vols 5.5 minutes in, and then answered 10 minutes later by Reese Legault for the Kennesaw State Owls. Devin Sarah, Gavin Coker, and Gavin, a great first 10 minutes for Tennessee. You could see the Owls, though, pushed back and had a number of 2-on-1s in the second half of the first period. What do you assess about how both teams have played so far?
I think Tennessee did a good job controlling the early period. They had fresh legs. And I think as the period went on, they kind of caught up to them, and that allowed Tennessee to get back to that structure defensively and allow the puck to stay out wide, because Tennessee wasn't able to break right down the middle using that speed, and that allowed Kennesaw to get back to that structured, strong defense that they're used to playing, and that created those 2-on-1 opportunities that they didn't score on, but they will later if Tennessee can't find a way to stop Kennesaw from driving down 2-on-1.
And a big play has been made by Will Costa, number 96 in black. He's been terrific. On the other side, some of the X factors that head coach Kenny Richter talked about have been playing well. Dylan Siegel, Dotterer come to mind. But we flip sides. Tennessee from right to left in their orange and white sweaters. The Owls in their black and yellow. And it's played out of the net by Evan Pritchard, making his 7th start of the year. He has yet to lose one for the Owls when he's playing this season. One feels like it could be a lot tighter going down the line than the previous 2 playoff games today. Legault, strict to the puck. Moving ahead with it is Jacob Seckenheim out of Liberty Township, Ohio. Played up the boards, up but not out. Christian Sousa. It's held on side, left wing, and pushed in deeper by Connor Berry. Met at the far boards. Sent towards the net and unable to stuff it in front. Big opportunity for Benjamin Felicki bearing down on Pritchard, and he'll melt all of this down. This puck out of play.
And that was good positioning by Felicki, getting a chance on that one-timer and just not able to get enough of the wood on that one.
Forces a draw to the left of Pritchard. James Kravis, great face-off man for the Owls once again. Wins another. Costin tried to play it from the boards. Sent immediately back by William Sherba. It's going to be iced by Kennesaw State now. And all of this start and stoppage, sometimes you see it throughout just the natural flow of things. But if Tennessee is able to use that speed, do you think they would prefer that there's less stoppages?
I think for Tennessee, getting a stoppage every once in a while allows you to get your legs back, especially when you've been running really hard for 3 minutes. I think they like a good 2-3 minutes without a whistle. But after that, if they can't get their lines rolling, it doesn't allow them to play the game the way they want to.
Well, the puck just rolled off the blade of Kravis, who would have had a 2-on-1 with Legault. They enter the fold anyway with their forwards. Legault plays it behind the goal. Cooper Lundberg after. And it's shoveled out of the zone emphatically by Caleb Kuhn. We're 5 in orange. Nice moves. Trying to get to the net is Jonathan Shaw. He plays defense, but he's in a hybrid role. And a Tennessee player knocked the net off behind Shine. A stick appears to be stuck inside of the netting, and that's what actually pulled it off. So popping out as James Kravis. You don't see that every day. That was William Sherba's twig.
Yeah, and Kravis tried to skate back behind, just a routine skate, get the legs moving, and he got stuck on Sherba's stick. So,
oh, there you go. Sometimes you think of a delay of game there, but that's not the case for an inadvertent play. Good pinch in, hold by Bradley Burton, left side to the net. And just steering wide on the shot was Robert Shutt. Shutt retrieves to the front of the net. Turned aside by Shine and ready for it in the low slot. Once again, Shutt whiffed on it, overskated the puck. It'll be dumped out and changed for Robert Keane.
2 good opportunities there by KSU. That one, like you mentioned, skated over. Probably would have ended up in the back of the net. That would have had a lot on it and just wasn't able to play it.
Shutt has been playing great in this game. Junior out of Flowery Branch, Georgia. 9 points to his name and just 4 goals all year. The Vols dump it in. Pritchard plays it out of his net. Brimmed up the far boards, caught by Lundberg. He'll look for a headman. Got it. Nolte all alone, however, as Kennesaw State is changing. Given back, played to Connor Berry. Owls with Bradley Burton resets. Ty Johnston ahead. Chris Scott in the right position. And a clean breakout. Right wing entering the zone. Owen Foster. Everyone's towards the goal. That one was like going wide. And then picked up by Dodgerer from Fayetteville, New York. This Tennessee player is an X factor. Just 12 points. There's a chance for him in front, and that's steered aside. Pritchard says no. Blocked on the follow-up by Bashkin. After it on the far side is Michael McLaury. Unable to find it between his legs is Pecora. Has help on the back end with Foster. Collected and carried by Chris Scott. Gains the red line and attempts one-on-one for Pecora. He's jammed by Berry. Legault takes a check to the board. Christopher Free for the Vols. Foster unable to get it towards the low slot, but a retrieval by Pecora. Stick active for our goaltender and Shine. Half-board battle. Bashkin trying to press it and hold it against Max Campo. And the Vols reverse field. Barba stood up emphatically. Getting in his way. That was Hudson Orgeron. I want to talk about guys that have been through adversity. 2 ACL surgeries later, and here he is back in a Kennesaw State sweater. One of their best players.
That kind of reminds me of Gabe Landeskog for the Avalanche. Orgeron wears an A for KSU, and what an effort by him just to rehab and get back.
I almost think of him as an Iron Man, but for the opposite reason. Trying to come back twice from that, it's not an easy thing to do, especially in the time frame that he injured his ACL. Kuhn, deeper to the offensive zone. Behind played. Dodger lost his footing. Taken over by Shaw. Emphatic intercept by Kuhn. Sent towards Pritchard. He has traffic coming, but Jonathan Shaw is there before anyone can get to it. Once again, great intercepts here by the Vols in the neutral zone. They create a scoring chance left side to Pritchard, and he'll swallow.
And you mentioned turnovers in the neutral zone. That's what we mentioned in the first period as well. Kennesaw struggling to get through the neutral zone, and that was a credit to the speed of Tennessee in the first half of the first period. So we'll look to see maybe more of the same from Kennesaw as the game goes on, finding ways to break through the zone, and which sets up those opportunities.
We're getting a lot of depth. Max Campbell had one of those intercepts. They've also had help with Jacob Sackenheim. That's from our producer, Danny Bohm, one of the guys that has to be good. Tennessee not really known for their depth on this team, but they do have a full roster. Up left wing, Sackenheim. Taken down to the ice. Christian Souza, he gets back up. Has help as they fight for it. Vol players without a stick. Crashing in is Legault. Swooping in is Costin. Can't clear. Legault is there to clean up the puck. Nice retrieval. And a good read there made by Dylan Siegel. Siegel deeper to the zone. Big collision in the Owls board. First penalty of this game coming up against the Vols when they touch. 13:42 left in the second, and we've got a slash.
KSU's been beaten so far with the speed in this period, but a chance for them to get some momentum, get on the board, and take advantage of the first power play of the game.
And this power play has been very good. Their leader is Reese Legault, 10 on the season. When they get them, they usually capitalize on them, especially in the second half of the year where they've won 8 of their last 9 games. So Costin to dig in, and he wins the draw. Jonathan Shaw, M1 Rhode Island transfer, holds the puck. Right wing plays tag with Costin. They'll look off defenders. Try to get it to the middle. He was pressed. Shaw gets it back from the point. Left side for Legault. Only goal scorer for the Owls, and that's flipped out of play. off the stick of James Kravis.
And you mentioned Kravis in the faceoff dot, and he's got 150 more faceoffs than the guy right after him, Owen Foster. So they really rely on him, and that's why he's in the dot here on the power play.
And from the eye test, he has won a lot more draws than he's lost so far in this game. So Dylan Siegel, the Vols' best player, has to sit in this box. But it's a pretty solid penalty kill, all things considered. Joseph Dotterer is very good in these situations. Connor Berry as well, number 43 in orange. Officials will back them up. And Dotterer had to go against Kravis. And what do you know? He won the draw. It'll be a race for it. Back to the Owls zone. Played by Costin to Shaw. They'll banana peel out. Left wing. Costin couldn't get there ahead of Dotterer. Kravis has to retreat back. Re-entrance. Here's Shaw. Backs up. Crosses ice. Kravis. Look towards the net. He's immediately hounded by Christopher Free. They keep it inside the zone. Legault. And another great read. How about this short-handed shift for Christopher Free right now? They battle for it in the near corner. Kravis takes it from the trapezoid. Back out to the top of the dots. He'll cut to the middle with a shot. And melted down. Will Shine had it. 1 minute to go in this first power play of this game. Crazy to think we've gone this long without that kind of stoppage. It's been a fast pace from Coral Springs.
And KSU doing a good job getting a screen there, but Shine able to get the cover. Shutt was in there trying to take away the eyes.
Face-off win, confident for the second unit that comes out here. From the low dots, right side chance. Shine got a piece in net. A long dump out, lookout linesman. Cleared by Robert Kane for Tennessee. Christian Sousa takes over. He'll cut through defenders to the right side. Service. And another opportunity to glove it down for Shine from the twig of Chris Scott.
And there's an example of what Christian Sousa does when he's out there on the ice. Carried it basically 200 feet and set up a shot. That's what you want to expect from your assistant captain and a guy who's a threat to score, but he's also not selfish with the puck.
All-conference first team a season ago, currently 34 points. He's in the running, wink, wink, for another conference player of the year, or not player of the year, but first or second team. Right side here in the middle, a chance to the net, and knocked down before he could get the shot off was Hudson Orgeron. Look out, short-handed, unable to hold the line with Sousa. This one's sent in. Jacob Seckenheim. And the Vols will play keep away. A single will come out of the box in 2 seconds.
And what effort by Sousa to
Orgeron, nice steal, right side, and a nice stop in and out of the hands of Shine. It trickles through the low slot, Gavin. And a big hit, look out. That's going to be a player down. Is there a call? There is. Ashton Nolte got decked in the near corner, and he's still down. But good to see him get up. Nolte just got smashed to the deck, and they're going to put Seckenheim in the box for that. Either roughing or boarding. Wait for the official announcement. Just as Tennessee was able to kill off that first power play, very good. They're going right back to the box. Dangerous hit. Good to see all players get away. It seems like okay for now. A conversation will go on for head coach Kyle Stevenson in his third season for Kennesaw State. Assistant coach Jeff Sousa. Their equipment manager is Robbie Wilcox. Here we go. Kravis back to dig in. Puck is up for grabs in the low slot. Legault skates away from defenders. They clog the middle. Bouncing puck. Legault got it back on the back door. Wide open. And somehow unable to get the shot off with Robert Schutt again. That looked like Nathan McKinn in the Olympics. So, Seckenheim officially called for boarding there on that foul, but I don't know if you get a better look than that, Gavin, on the power play.
Yeah, and the whistle was blown because that net came off, and we've kind of seen that at both ends, kind of killing momentum, and that's what happens there. What a great look by KSU. Had the wide open net, like you mentioned.
Tennessee cannot win a faceoff right now, but that's what happens when you play a guy like James Kravis. He wins another one. Jonathan Shaw to the right wing. Will Costin has a lane, takes it. That one might have got knocked down in front before it ever got to shine. Retrieved by Legault. Given shot. Glove down by Kravis. Put it to the blue line. Nobody was there, and then Shaw had to race back. He keeps it onside. Says with the net. Jonathan Shaw. For the points.
And what a shot by Shaw, but Robert Schutt getting in front, taking away Shine's eyes there. Set up that goal for Shaw. And there's no better goal in hockey than a bar down.
In just 9 games, that is the 8th goal for the grad student from Kennesaw, Georgia. We talked about his career at Rhode Island, M1, a leading scorer there on their blue line. He comes into this playoff game and now gives the lead. Halfway gone in this hockey game. And give a secondary to Schutt, who has been snake bit and contributed on that one. Here comes the Bulls the other way. Pritchard has to fight off an attempt. Getting in front was Benjamin Felicki. They dig away in this corner. Coming free. Getting poke checked from Pritchard was Seckenheim. At the point, Bulls to the middle of the ice, looking for number 7 in orange, Seckenheim. Pursued by Pecora. To the front of the nets, on this near post, trying to body a man out of the way is Felicki. Directed. Caleb Kuhn in the middle. Tried to get it to Siegel, and it hopped over a stick towards the net. Rebound given up, and then getting smashed to the ice is Seckenheim, and that's going to be a penalty. Ty Johnston took him down.
Yeah, Ty Johnston got a little physical there. There's a line between defending your goalie and finding a way to end up in the box, and that's what Johnston does there. And Seckenheim had just come out of the box for that boarding penalty, so now a chance for Tennessee to tie this one up.
So a tough penalty to take. It's going to be a high sticking. And so all of a sudden, just when we said this game had no penalties in the last 2 minutes, it's really opened up. It's 2-1, Kennesaw State. Bulls get their first crack on the man advantage. This has been the strong suit. Kenny Richter told us he likes to change up what this power play one does, but their biggest attribute is they're creative and fast. Not if Legault and the shorthanded Owls have something to say about it. Coming in back was Michael McLaury for the Vols. They have to reset in their own zone. Legault will hound Caleb Kuhn in his own zone. They steal it in front for Boston. He takes a hit up high. Gloving it down is Shine, and Costin's hurt. He took a glove right to the face. And that's why they let them play with the cages at the collegiate level. Good to see him get away from that. He'll keep his teeth. And you can see right there, Reese Legault. We talked about him as a goal scorer, but that kind of pursuit shorthanded is really impressive stuff.
And he shows why he's a star player on this team. Finds ways to turn defense into offense, and almost had an opportunity there.
Power play for the Vols, almost a minute gone. Or without an official shot to the net. They have a rush. It's the zone with Dotterer. A dump in to the near wing. Backhanded to nobody in particular. First man to get there is Dotterer, but he stood up by Hudson Orgeron. Play that almost reminds me of Patrice Bergeron, a really good two-way forward in
One
the
of the
NHL.
best.
Going to work. And he's got help. This is a great kill for Ashton Nolte and company. Tennessee cannot get free. Trying to get it away from defenders. And it's stripped again. Here's Jonathan Shaw, the most recent scorer. He's going to push it all the way to the net. Bodies go down in orange, and Shaw steers it to the opposite goalpost. 30 seconds to go in this power play that has done much next to nothing.
And this is looking more like a power kill for KSU.
Shot steered away. That was the first one on Pritchard this entire shift. 8:26 left in the second. We get it free to the middle, and Shaw was in the way of the passing lane. Low slot under the legs of Souza, and a dump out for Nolte and company. 2 seconds to go. Out of the box comes Ty Johnson for the high sticking penalty, and the Vols power play is up. They'll have to find any kind of way to get momentum back, and well, you got to be careful here. This is playing right into the Owls' hands right now. We just had the power play goal, and now gain even more of the ice tilt from that short-handed kill. Look out, right wing chance though, fought off by Pritchards. Snapshot came from O'Donnell. He's got it back. Hands it off to Free. From the point, held in, gets it deeper. Plays whack stick with Bashkin, and that will go into the netting out of play, so we'll do the draw in the Owl zone.
And something to note, Devin, is Schutt was credited with that goal. Shaw gets an assist. They're saying it was redirected on the way in.
Boy, that must have been the perfect kind of tip then. So Schutt officially gets the goal. Jonathan Shaw, rather, had the assist and snapped it from the point. Still a great opportunity, and boy, it's good to see for Schutt, who's been really on the pouncing of the opportunity all game. And cashes in right there. It's 2-1 Owls. 7:17 to go in the second. Devin Sarah, Gavin Coker with you from the Panthers IceDen in Coral Springs, Florida. First round play-in for the M3 tournament.
Winner of this one's playing MTSU, and MTSU arrived earlier. They were watching during the first period along the boards, so maybe scouting out the competition.
Yeah, head coach JJ Murray told us earlier this week that he knows how good the Owls have been as of late, and if that is the team that he has to see tomorrow, he wants to figure out why they've been so good. And I think he's getting an idea of it. Guys like Orgeron and Shaw and that goaltender, Evan Pritchard. This is going to be icing if it's it gets there first, and it is Liam Grogan. And talking about Middle Tennessee, number one all season, they were just knocked down to the number 2 spot, leapfrogging them Calvin University out of Michigan. It's all but certain Middle Tennessee is going to the national title game, and they have a lot of motivation after losing in the semifinal at AAU Nationals to the national champion FAU last year.
Yeah, and it was kind of a weird week in CHS among the ACHA rankings because they lose to South Carolina, and then this KSU squad beats that South Carolina squad with the weekend sweep. So kind of shook up what we thought was going to be some of the playoff seeding. And MTSU, maybe some adversity. They haven't seen a whole lot of it this year.
Left wing, here's a chance, in and out of the glove. Good job by Shine to get enough on it. It came from David Bannister. Vols, opposite way. Here's one steering in towards the low slot. A retrieval. Seckenheim to Barry. Sharping will try, and Pritchard's got it with no contest. And South Carolina, they were probably the biggest losers of all the college hockey South teams. They went from number 9 in the country to number 16. The cut line to make nationals is the top 16. And because of how M3 works, and I wish we had this answer for you, we don't even know who the auto bid teams are yet. That's confirmed by this commissioner. That's been confirmed by the league. They don't know who the auto bids are until we get that final ranking on March the 2nd.
And that's what's important about this tournament is a lot of these teams.
Look out, right side chance goes in. That looked like Sago from the half boards. And just like that, the Vols have tied it up at 2.
And what a shot by Siegel. Letting that one loose from the right face-off dot and picks the far corner.
Wow. Siegel has absolutely lit it up when they've needed him. That's his 12th of the year through 15 games, averaged just over a point per game this year. Out of Arlington, Virginia, one of the X factors outlined by Kenny Richter cashes in. So it's been that kind of game. You get X factors like Legault and Siegel scoring.
Like we were talking about, Devin, that's why the CHS playoff tournament's so important, because these do count for ACHA rankings. And you've got a lot of the top teams here, because ACHA rankings did define the playoff seeding. So some teams, big chances to move up if they can upset some of these top seeds.
And just to think, if we don't even know who the auto bids are, imagine if this conference has an auto bid. You have everything to play for, regardless if you're a top 25, top 16, top whatever team. Here's the Owls trying to answer after that half-board chance from Siegel. Legault tried to take a no-look shot. That one was one off a skate of a Tennessee player. Getting back to his feet is Costin. It's flipped out of the zone by Barry. It'll reach the trapezoid, but icing is waved off by the linesman. Head pass. Standing up a man is Costin. That was Barry meeting. Kravis gets around 2 defenders. Has Legault in front. Options if he wants it. Gets around the back of the goal. Try to turnaround try. Well wide. First man there for the Vols is Gavin O'Donnell. He'll head a pass. Right wing side. Out of the hands. Christian Sousa blocked the scoring ability for Campo. From the point. Kuhn. Knocked down by Legault. Here come the Owls. 3-on-2. Nice move. First time through defenders, but that's all of it for Cooper Lundberg. Number 18 in black. And pushed out of the zone by Robert Kane. The Vols will try to meet Pritchard. Kennesaw State is changing. Smart move by Pritchard. Not put the puck in harm's way with defenders bearing down on him. Tried to reach that puck, he couldn't. Left wing, O'Donnell tried to look in front for Campo, and it hopped over his stick. Held onside. There'll be a battle in this corner. O'Donnell. Shaw comes away with it. Almost hit the head of Cooper Lundberg, and it's played out of the zone and out of play entirely by, look like, Dunford.
And Tennessee showing some of that momentum. Got some good drives down towards the net. Pritchard almost a little bit of a rough play, came out to play the puck, and Tennessee almost caught him out of position. But good job by Pritchard getting back after playing the puck.
The tall guy, 6'3" in net. Nikolai Dunn was their perennial starter. Kyle Stevenson told me it was such a hard decision, a good problem to have, but a hard decision to start these last couple of games with Pritchard over Nikolai Dunn, who's been a great goaltender all season out of Ackworth, Georgia. But when you're hot, that's the time to go to your best netminder, especially in the playoffs. 3 minutes to go in the second period. Good hold in by the Vols here the last couple of minutes. Another one played by Albert. With floats Nolte, who has it, and will take over. The alternate captain. Check to the boards. Puck moved along by Kuhn along the end wall. Diving down. He'll throw a puck with his hand, and that's an obvious hand pass that will stop play.
Yeah, tried to get the puck out of the zone, and that was the goal. He does get it out, but then a Vol comes up and plays it, and that's what stops the whistle. You can't give it to a teammate. You can try and get it out of the zone, but...
Yeah, with Owen Foster pitching there, you think of it as like the right decision, but you can't play it unless it's with your twig. 2:33 left on the time. Our great production staff, Danny Bohm, our producer, Lena Kay, our camera woman. Gavin Coker, making up for what I miss, which is a lot, especially in that first. You know. Here's a chance, little slot, and Pritchard gobbles it up. An extra whack after the play. None of the Owls reacted to that as Max Campo tried to take the puck free.
Yeah, quick whistle there by the ref.
Pritchard
didn't have it covered, and it snaked out, but ref on the far side boards couldn't see it, thought he had it, and Tennessee not too happy as they had an open net with a chance to score there.
We'll have to take a draw against Foster. Ty Johnston put it off the Tennessee bench to the neutral zone, and it's swung in. Puck hopped over the stick of Chris Scott, trying to slow it down. Falls right back into it, but from the red line, Barry dumped it, and that's another inadvertent icing mistake, not gaining the red line. As good as Tennessee has been in the neutral zone, Gavin, it seems like they take some of these errant icings.
Yeah, I think the pressure of Kennesaw sometimes comes up too quick, and they're not quite sure what to do. We've seen some sloppy plays on both sides. They get the puck and just throw it away because they're not keeping their head up and looking around for what they've got around them.
So a lack of poise plaguing the Vols right now. They've got to survive for a minute and 50. James Kravis on the forecheck. Tries to strip it from O'Donnell. They fall to the ice. Dylan Siegel watches, the latest goal scorer. He'll let the puck hop. He's got one more man to beat. Last defender back there. Getting away is Bradley Burton. For James Kravis, Race Legault, right side, looked for options, across, and whiffing on the shot was Burton as the net came off.
And he had Shine beat. Shine went down, looking to close the low part of the goal, and he could have lifted that one over him, but Shine ultimately knocking the goal off of the moorings again.
I mean, that all starts right there. Kravis with a great head pass, taking away the Vols, who looked like they were going to try and make ice there. And boy, another chance that Shine, well, he might have been beat there. Burton had a really good step in Legault, a perfect feed. Just didn't get enough smoke on it.
And the Ice Wolves have done a good job in the neutral zones, and that was one of the slip-ups there that set that one up.
Oh, the chance! Second!
Finding it once again from the right dot. Driving that one. That almost looks similar to that Seagal goal. Playing a little, Simon Says, you can do it, I can do it better. And Legault puts that one in the back of the net.
Make that the 26th goal and 45th point. Team leading. Race Legault. Simply sensational. A great snapshot over the shoulder of Shine. And it's 3-2 with a minute to go in this second. The Owls looking for one more. Right wing, big hit laid out. That was David Bannister getting the worst of it. Jonathan Shaw from the red line. Liam Grogan had it, lost it. O'Donnell with the send-in. First man there is Sousa in black. Stepping into the puck to try and get it to the opposite wing was Sherba. And he will, as the Vols look to get structured defensively. Played out of the air. Grogan left it. Bannister to take over. Far wing to the outside. Stick in the way as it bounced toward the end boards, and it gets caught up in the back of the netting, and the official comes in to stop play for that. 22 to go in this period. And if you're the Owls right now, do you think that that goal was evident of a momentum shift, or did Tennessee just have a mistake there?
That was a big evidence of some momentum that they had. You mentioned it, some poise struggled for Tennessee, and the big three getting involved on that goal. Legault scores it, but Sousa and Kravis tallying assists. So when those guys are able to get on the score sheet, you know good things are happening for the Owls.
That's about as textbook as X factor as you can say. A couple of Kennesaw State players that have been staples for Kyle Stevenson and company in this program.
You want to keep three guys off the board, those are the three, and Legault already on hat trick watch now.
So it's played into the Kennesaw bench, and that will once again force us to do the draw. I'll try my best not to get my big head in the way of Lena K's shot. So we are ice side here at the Mezzanine Rink, Coral Springs, Florida. Thanks so much to the College Hockey South staff. We're here for day 1 of 4. And everybody's just getting settled in, kind of like you're on a vacation, if you would. Big old happy family. Not so happy, though, as the Vols fans who are down by 1. Barry just trying to survive to the end of the period. Pushes it up against the end wall, and that's it. So Kennesaw State, Reese Legault. From a tip shot in front by Robert Schutt from Jonathan Shaw, have the answer. The only one for the Vols is their leading scorer, Dylan Siegel. And after 40 minutes, we get 20 more to decide this playoff game. On day number 1, it's Kennesaw State, the 8th seed, Tennessee. Rather, the opposite way. Whatever. You don't want to go anywhere, though. It's getting good here on the Panthers IceDen. 3-2 after 40 minutes in this first round playoff game. Number 8 seed Kennesaw State, number 9 seed Tennessee. And the goals in that period, Robert Schutt on a tipped from the point by Jonathan Shaw, answered by Dylan Siegel at the half wall. And then Reese Legault second, Devin Sarah, Gavin Coker. Now, Gavin, shots are 25-22 in favor of UT. But Kennesaw State at the end of this periods have just generated these odd man rushes, hem the zone. What does Tennessee have to do to answer that? And counterpoint, how does Kennesaw State close this game out?
I think for Tennessee, a lot of you mentioned it, they have a 3-shot advantage, but I don't think all of their shots are necessarily quality. Some of them are just trying to dump it in and maybe it hits the goalie and he has to make a save. So if you're Tennessee, you're looking to get more movement and get Kennesaw stretched out wide to allow some of those open passing lanes into the slot where you can get a guy coming downhill and allow him to get a lot on it. For Kennesaw State, they've played really strong. They've lost some momentum at the beginning of periods. I think the first 10 minutes are the most important for Kennesaw State. If they can get a goal here in this first 10 minutes, they can demoralize the Ice Bulls and really take control of this game.
And the team in black, he's talking about looking to move on. And with a reseeding coming up, they could play either USF or Middle Tennessee to start day number 2 if they're able to hold on. Of course, we mentioned earlier Middle Tennessee could meet either of these sides, but it's more looking like the opposite if it's true. Based on whoever wins the remaining of the day, we've got Clemson and Vanderbilt coming up on the Den Rink at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Time. We've got business to settle. Kennesaw State, Will Costin to the offensive zone. Rimmed around the end wall. Up at the point, held by Shaw. Kravis is there. He gets bumped off by Felicki. Meeting him there, Reese Legault. 2 goals in this game on hat trick watch, as Gavin likes to say. Out in front, tried to get the puck for Cooper Lundberg. Unsuccessful. Foiled. Felicki alone. Left wing. He's got one man, Siegel, towards the net, and an easy glove stop, seeing through traffic for Pritchard.
And that's an example of one of those shots that I talked about. Doesn't really test Pritchard. You need to be driving downhill, and maybe you just wanted to get that one, get a whistle, get some fresh legs out there. But if you're Tennessee, you can't waste any ozone time.
They have it off the draw. Rare face-off win. They try to shove it to the net. Look out. Big collision on the far post. Talk about not wasting any time trying to carry that right to the net was Caleb Poon. Everyone gets away, no worse for wear. But with Tennessee, you talk about this speed and their X factors. Dylan Siegel. Goal and assist this game to Seth Hagen, who only had 7 points all year.
Yeah, and that's what you like to see in the playoffs if you're Tennessee. You want to see some of these depth guys getting involved. That's where teams are going to excel in the playoffs. You can rely on your stars to a point, but it comes down to depth, third, fourth line scoring.
Taking over, Lundberg to the net, out of the air. It's still up for grabs, low slot. 3 Vols against 1 Owl. That was Ty Johnston, and they come away no worse for wear.
I have to imagine if Kennesaw found a way to score that one probably would have been whistled no goal with the stick being up as high as it was over the shoulders.
A bit of room to breathe for their netminder, Will Shine. It's been good when he's had to be, as the Owls have more of the high-quality chances, as Gavin mentioned. At the near half wall. Carried out. Opposite wing, here comes Ashton Nolte out of Marietta, Georgia. The junior has to fight for it. Has help coming from the back end by Foster. Taking over, swooping in is Chris Scott. A point-blank chance, and Shine's got it from the attempt on Nolte.
And a good job defensively by the Vols. Took away a passing lane there and allowed Shine just to square up with that one.
And you know, Gavin, you talked about so much of the D zone being good. That was one of the things that Kyle Stevenson pointed out to us. It starts in their D zone, breaking out as a unit, not being able to chase. Here's a chance on Pritchard the opposite way, fought off. And as for Kenny Richter right there, I mean, Kennesaw State having to get back in their own zone that time. From center ice, up for grabs for Chris Scott. He'll dig it free from a number of Vols. This one's handled by Connor Berry out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Berry knocks his man to the ice. The Owls bench doesn't like it. No call. Dotterer around defenders. Rather Seckenheim. Left wing side. Liam Grogan, the freshman, all kinds of pressure. They smash into the Tennessee boards. Seckenheim again out of his own zone. Berry steers it through the glass. Near side to the middle. Nobody home except an orange sweater. And the dump out successful. Bulls will get a line change as Joseph Alvarez has to retreat back to the neutral zone. They get it for Hudson Orgeron. Twig lifted by William Sherba. Met at the near boards. This one now is Dotterer. And Benoit, right side, 2-on-1. Could develop. Great diving play by Bashkin. And the puck floats in on Pritchard.
What a play there defensively by KSU. Taking away the shot and the pass. There was just nothing left for Benoit. He tried to drive downhill and put that one in the back of the net.
Yeah, Benoit, not a guy we've talked a lot about in this game, but has been involved in the play he's needed to out of Hudson, Massachusetts. 14 points. Another one from the right side. Dangerous on Pritchard. So the Vols just keep recycling these face-off draws.
And that was Benoit winning that one, setting up that opportunity. And Devin, you mentioned Kyle Stevenson with the defense and trying to start the offense there. He expects these defensemen to carry the mail and move the puck up the ice.
Evident by this guy, Jonathan Shaw. Taking over, another one, James Kravis. He's a centerman senior. Stick is on the ice. We've got a whistle. And this looks like a penalty coming up to the Vols.
Costin bent over there, got hit into the boards pretty hard and was holding his wrist as came over. A cross-checking penalty against the Ice Vols.
It looks like Sherba going to the box for 2 minutes. Kennesaw State is 1 for 2 on their man advantages today. The only one, Robert Shutt on a tip that came from the point by Jonathan Shaw. Early part of the second. So you're going to dig in for Orgeron. Vols win, but don't get it out from the point. Chris Scott to the middle. Steered deeper by Nolte. Souza. Right side, Nolte. Gets it deeper for Foster. Calling for the middle, zips it there. And fanning on the one-timer with Souza. Chris Scott to take over once again. Deeper for Owen Foster, one of the clutchest players out of Marietta, Georgia. Remember 37, he's got 3 game-winning goals this year. They're in the driver's seat, though. Looking for 2. Foster put it off his own man in the rebound as Orgeron, put it off his own pad and tried to get the shot. Full player tripped up the middle, but look out, near shorthanded break. 3-on-2. Left side to the middle. In and out of the hand of Pritchard and gobbled up.
Good job
from Seckenheim.
Good job by Pritchard tracking that one. Seckenheim tried to throw him off, went out wide and took a quick shot, and Pritchard was not fooled.
How does that shorthanded break start like that 3-on-2?
I think it's a product to the speed, and Sousa had to make a diving play a little bit, not enough on the pass by Foster.
Look at the Vols buzzing on the shorthanded opportunity. This is Kane with the puck, dangling past defenders. He's finally stripped by Kravis. Will take it out to open ice. Cross ice feed. Ahead for Nicholas Pecora. Or rather, Liam Grogan. Deeper to the zone, Robert Shutt, one of the goal scorers and the only one on the power play. Behind, this is Legault. He's got 2 in this game. Runs away from defenders. He's shadowed. Jonathan Shaw gets it back. Legault in the middle. Looking for Shutt. And poke checked away. That was first met by Albert. And then the Vols got numbers there. 20 seconds to go in the man advantage. Reese Legault. Quick re-entrance. Right side. Tries to go wide and backhand through the low slot. Vols have a man there at the point. That'll just about do it for this man advantage. Until Sherba's let out of the box for the cross-checking penalty. Jonathan Shaw, though, will take the zone entrance. In the middle, right on the goal line, and clear it out in the lane. Back into the fray comes Schubert. He'll get replaced by a Vol. Siegel is there, 22 in orange. He's one of the 2 goal scorers. Had a surprise one from the half boards earlier. Getting in, Owen Foster in front, great beats.
And what a pass there. That was Owen Foster getting the pass from the corner, setting that one up. And it's that kind of downhill motion that we talked about. You get going downhill, head of steam there, and Chris Scott puts that one in the back of the net.
Great vision by a senior that has been so complimented. We said a moment ago, remember that number, 37. Fed it to the senior, 5th-year player out of Cummington, Georgia. His 17th of the year, and Foster picks up assist number 15. That is an impressive duo. We'll snap it over the shoulders of Shine, and it's 4-2. Tennessee, as Gavin mentioned, might be on the back burner. They need an answer right on the goal line to get it through, and Pritchard says no.
How did that one not get past Pritchard there? Had to bounce up in the air, and Pritchard able to knock that one back down right in front of him and get the cover.
Yeah, Dotterer was right there on the doorstep, and he jammed it once and twice, and Pritchard denied both. That is an excellent mark for the goaltender they brought in the second semester. Here's a face-off win, and the roadblock in front of that shot was Orgeron. Bowles, steer, Dotterer to the net. Easy stick save for Pritchard. Sharping will try, once again says no. From the end wall, Bradley Burton tries to fight through traffic. It'll be knifed out by Chris Scott in the air. 2 Owls collapse on the puck. That was Pecora. But taking over the opposite way is Dotterer. Got it for Sherba. Dotter with a chance if he wants to shoot. Fakes it, cuts wide, gets it to the slots. And now another one is cut off by Pecora.
And the KSU bench loving that one, giving some stick taps to Pecora, who got a stick there, sent that one up into the netting.
Former FAUL right here in South Florida. He was terrific last year. Double-digit goal totals. A bit down on his numbers, just 17 points and 6 goals. They have so much depth on this Kennesaw State team. A guy like that doesn't play most of this game and then comes in and makes a nice deflection.
And he's no stranger to playing here. One of the rinks that FAU plays at during the season.
Now, one of the few. They moved over to Boca Ice Center this year. This used to be home of the M2 FAU Owl team, and they have also since moved over to the Boca Ice Center. The Owls, M2, will play Florida later today. Actually, that game might be going on right now. First of 3 in the M2 division this week, and sort of a round-robin style. That 2 records go on to the final day on Sunday.
Yeah, those M2 games are later tonight at 9:15, and
Okay.
FAU punched their ticket to nationals earlier this week, and Florida, this will end their season, so they're going to be playing hard. You know it. They want to come out on top as a conference champion.
Frank Pasquale and the Gators lost to team I'm blanking on, of course, Ohio State, 5-4 in regionals. Meanwhile, FAU beat that Ohio State team to advance to St. Louis, where the national tournament will go March 12th through the 17th. Neither of these sides right now in national contention, but an auto bid is at stake possibly. Drop pass in front. Another man stepping into that puck. Pecora still has it to fight it off. Great shift there for Sherba, who's been all over. Number 26, rather, that was Seth Hagen, who has a goal and an assist. Still another guy off the leg of a Vol. And they do a good job hemming the right side of the ice. 11:02 to go. The Vols need an answer. Most recent goal, Chris Scott from Owen Foster moments ago, has them in the driver's seat. The team in black. Here's Seth Hagen. Cut it deeper to the zone. Hudson Bashkin is there. Steers it. Held on side with Albert. He'll take a check. Reverse field to the right side in the middle. unable to successfully clear. As stepping into it was Kane. He gets knocked down. Owls doing a good job holding the balls to the outside. In front, cut off. Bashkin got in the way, and a breakout comes. Just a chip and dump. The only man to go in after is Bannister. Clean shift change. The flip out for Hagan. Tried to find McLaury. Dotterer will take over from the logo. Souza is there. Steers it to the near side. Bashkin swooping in one more time and flipped over a number of sticks. 2-on-0 break. Here comes Legault for Orgeron.
What a tic-tac-toe play there.
Orgeron from Legault. And it's 5-2 Kennesaw State.
And a great passing play between Legault and Orgeron. Putting that one in the back of the net, and unselfish play as well. You know, Legault was looking for the Hattie and could have had it, but unselfish. And that's why this KSU team has a chance to go far in these playoffs.
That was a tough break for that Tennessee defender right at the blue line. And Kennesaw State can smell it now to go on to day 2 for Kyle Stevenson and this group.
As we're seeing some tensions boil over between the two sides after Kennesaw State increases the lead to 3.
Yeah, some real backburner stuff. This feels a lot like the second period of that 6-2 win for Kennesaw State against the Vols back in the first semester. Tennessee was caught chasing a lot in that game, and it feels like they're kind of succumb to that kind of play again. They have got to get Dylan Siegel and company going. We haven't heard Felicki's name in a while. Gloved out of the air. This one's handled by Christopher Free. Tried to get it for Barry. Went through his stick. Look out right on the crease. And Shine has to stop it.
And Kravis coming in there, standing up for Legault, who took a little shove from Barry after trying to get the puck.
Yeah, Legault just all over the ice. I mean, what do you make of kind of the performance today? 2 goals and 1 assist for the Livonia, Georgia native.
And we expected a big game from him, and so did Tennessee's coach, Kenny Richter. He expected this. He had him circled. He mentioned he's a threat. Scoring, driving, even defensively. There's been a couple times on the back check where he's played good defensively, and that's killed Tennessee's momentum.
And right now, Kenny Richter and company are searching. They have the puck in the offensive zone. A chance. Pritchard says no. Sharp angle from Sackenheim. After it is Foster. At the half boards. They kick for it. Felicki is in there. Squirted it free. Shirba to race it. I will stand them up. Siegel. No contest. Handled for Shirba. They try to move it quickly. Siegel just a dump in and change towards the net. Felicki is in there to pressure. O'Donnell back on the ice. Knocked out of the air. Getting in the way of that lane was Foster, but it forces an icing against the Owls. Gavin Coker, Devin Serra with you as time dwindles away. And as we mentioned, this will happen a reseeding. So we know one of the matchups. Tampa beat Embry-Riddle earlier 5-1. So they will take on the number 4 seed, South Carolina. That should be a terrific game tomorrow. But with the reseeding structure, Kennesaw State can presumptuously either play Middle Tennessee or USF. Depends on what happens with that Clemson and Vanderbilt game. And of course, can't forget about Florida Gulf Coast in there, who was the last team that earned an auto bid. The number 3 seed currently.
And it's a tough draw either way for Kennesaw State. Those are 2 top teams, definitely in a national spot. So Kennesaw's got their work cut out for them coming out of this game today.
Yeah, if they can hold on with 7:32 to go, and with what could be a big answer right now. It's the toughest lead in hockey. You can't let it go for the Vols, but 9-5-0, not a bad year by any means for them, but they just did not play a lot of games. And one thing that their coach talked to us about was not getting to play games as frequently as others kind of hurt their momentum. People showed up to the ice, were still positive, but it definitely was a weird, what he called a sort of an outlier year, where they don't really compete as much as other teams. They're a little bit limited in their funding. They wouldn't go to nationals even if they were in the top 16, but you still have to like how they're building this program with some young guys. Felicki on the ice, along with Seckenheim, two guys that Kenny Richter's big on. Felicki has a chance, and it was knocked down by his own man in the way, Seckenheim. Dotterer smashed to the boards. Jonathan Shaw, long flip out. Trying to touch that puck was Felicki. The official says he does, and that's what will have waved off the icing. Tennessee with speed. Dotterer, drop pass for Seckenheim to the net. Pritchard never gives up a rebound, but takes a leg full, and Dotterer is getting a face full from Christian Sousa. Look out, Pritchard is down. He took a leg right to the left hand. He'll get up gingerly. That's not a great sign if you're a Kennesaw State fan. For the currently undefeated goaltender, looking to go to 7-0 in his Owls career.
Showing the ref that maybe caught some head contact, and Tennessee driving hard there as they're on the power play.
Yeah, missed that. Good catch there as Ashton Nolte is in the box. So this is a man advantage for the Vols, although they have done next to nothing on their chances today. Still 0 for 2.
And Nolte was called for, I think it was that open ice trip that we saw earlier. He put the body down, and that's what they called him for.
So Tennessee with a chance. If they have any light in this game, it has to happen now. Shorthanded, though. They force Shine to make a stop off the twig of Shutt. Robert had a tipped shot earlier from the point go in. Gave him the only goal. He's wrestled down. Owls bench wants a call. They're not going to get one. Puck slides off the boards and is collected by Felicki. He has Legault pressing. 2 goals and an assist. And Legault might be our player of the game. For definitely a part of the 3 stars, Gavin. Jonathan Shaw whacks it along the glass. And it's all the way back down into the hands of Shine, who has pressure from Orgeron, has to hold on. And 35 seconds left in the power play. What is not going right for Tennessee right now?
I think they're thinking about things 2 steps ahead, and that's causing them to get sloppy with the puck. And that's what allows Kennesaw State to dump it down and honestly turn these power plays into power kills. They've had more opportunities than Tennessee has on the past 2 power plays on net.
Right there, Siegel and another forward had to press that Kennesaw State defender from the points. It's a power play that puts all 5 forwards on the ice. You will not see a defenseman in this power play unit, and Kenny Richter told us that he was going to play some of his forwards at defense, and you've seen that with the likes of Robert Kane, number 6. There's a trickling puck for Siegel, and he can't jam it home. Orgeron up but not out, held in by Kane. Left side swings it. Diving play made. Good job getting the lane by Bradley Burton. And Burton forced a dump out of the box, right into the fray. Nolte has 2 men to beat, gets hauled down. Big reverse play. Kane came in there from the back end to put him to the deck. Hagen hits a man up high. Look out. Owl player gets cross-checked in the neck. This is Nolte down in a heap of pain with Hagen. Look out. Owls, though, have numbers. The Kennesaw State fans to our right are livid, as Nolte took a cross-check from, that was Sherba rather. And they're going to get him rather. I said Sherba, that is Seth Hagen, number 28. And that's a killer as the guy I just mentioned, Sherba, smashes his stick in his own zone.
And that's a momentum killer, especially down 3 goals. Penalty you can't afford to take if you had any chance to get back into this one. And Kennesaw has been good on the power play in this one.
They can put this one on ice right here. Left side, Legault to the middle. Shut. Knocked the puck down before it got to the crease. Shaw winds it up one more time for Legault. And he didn't get enough on the pass, and getting in the way of that was the Vols. McFlory. Shaw. Through defenders in the box. Skates away from them. Hooks. Backing up is Grogan. Right side for Shaw. Looks towards the net. Thought better of it. Shaw. Right side. One-timer for Legault. The hat trick for Reese Legault.
Heads to the bench, counting 1, 2, 3 on his fingers, and he made Tennessee pay 2 times from that faceoff dot. You can tell they've been working on that in practice before headed to playoffs, and he's excited. You know, gave up that goal earlier to Orgeron on that tic-tac-toe play and finds one. And second hat trick against Tennessee this year.
That should be second assist for Jonathan Shaw today. And just like the first semester, Kennesaw State is up 6-2 against the Ice Vols. And their season will come to an end with this loss. Not without a chance. Right wing to the front, trying to steer it on net with a whack, was Grogan. Now Danny Bohm. Could be a chance for a play-in game, but not exactly sure. Now arm is in the air. And other penalty looks like it's coming up on the Vols.
And Camden Shutt got an assist as well on the Legault goal. So, goal, 2 assists today.
Much deserved for somebody that worked so hard in net. Thanks to our producer, Danny Bohm, also our statistician, Lena Kay, on the camera. Gavin Coker, color. I'm Devin Serra, and we are 3 minutes and 40 seconds away from Kennesaw State, getting ready to play tomorrow. We'll await the result of Clemson and Vanderbilt, which will evidently decide our play-in games. And they give holding to the Vols, Caleb Kuhn. And with a reseeding coming up, you know, what is the team that you're really most excited to watch in this playoff, Gavin?
I'm looking forward to seeing FGCU. Haven't played too many CHS teams this season, and they've got a lot of momentum going into this one. And potentially are trying to fight to get into a regional spot. National spot.
Yeah, I mean, there's an auto bid still on the line, and certainly you want to be as an at-large team. And Kennesaw State, after the result of this, will either, and thanks to Danny Bohm for confirming this, either play Florida Gulf Coast or USF, depending on what happens with Clemson and Vanderbilt. Here's a chance in front again. A smashing try, and Pritchard denied both times. The Vols, Dunford, or rather McLaury. And now they put a owl in the box, and that is sitting for 2, Robert Shutt. So we got 4-on-4 for 3:06 before this all gets said and done. Now there is still a 9th place game to play. And I believe that might still be in grasp. We'll just ask, hey, Danny, can Tennessee qualify for the 9th place game? Copy that. So Tennessee still a chance to be in the 9th place game. believe that depends on what happens with the seeding. Vandy and Clemson again will play coming up in this game tonight at 9:15 p.m. Eastern time on the Den Rink, and M2 Florida and Florida State.
And I'll be on the call over there on the Den Rink with Chris Linney for that Vandy Clemson game. You can expect fireworks. These two teams have met up earlier this year. Vandy came out on top in the one game they played. Second game of the season was canceled due to the winter storm.
That's so disappointing, too. That winter storm that wreaked havoc on Atlanta and much of the Southeast. Down here in Florida, we felt a cool breeze, as Floridians like to say. Here's a chance. Orgeron, nice move to the net. Fought off Shine once, twice. A rebound given up, and a crowd will gather. Some angry faces on the Tennessee side. An arm around Christian Souza. Now it looks like everyone's getting away, no worse for wear.
Nolte took a little shove there after trying to play the puck after the goalie had covered it. But you like that effort from Kennesaw. That's the effort of a playoff team that has a chance to go really far. You play till the whistle and even sometimes through it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a team that has a lot of star power. And with those 4 additions, Evan Pritchard, Jonathan Shaw, Cooper Lundberg, and they get Hudson Orgeron back, you'd have to think they are far and away a team that could absolutely take down either FGCU or, as that one is backhanded in by Siegel, fought off by Pritchard, that USF team. USF, one of those teams that's likely going to nationals. They've planted themselves in the number 6 spot, penultimate rankings. And the final day for rankings is March 1st on Championship Sunday. Everything at stake for teams like USC and Tampa right on the cut line at 15 and 16 in the country. Up but not out. Steered deeper. A quick shot from Sackenheim where they floated. Fought by Pritchard. Out of the box comes the Vols. In front, left pad stop for Shine. It'll be a disappointing end to the winner's bracket for Tennessee. Still a chance for them to play in the 9th place game. Go to collegehockeysouth.com to stay updated with the standings results.
And on the website, you can track all the player stats for the playoffs up to this point.
Yes. Designed by a great staff for the conference, led by Kyle O'Neill. 1 minute to go in this game. Kennesaw State with a Reese Legault. Hat trick is a chance, scores! Nice dangle for Chris Scott, but the whistle goes, and we got a Donnybrook behind the play. A faceful. Joseph Alvarez gets into it. There's 2 players down in the pile. That's Owen Foster. The Vol on top of the pile. It looks like William Sherba. Foster with a smile on his face will get a face full of snow as Chris Scott buries potentially the 7th goal. It seemed like the whistle came right as he was going for that backhander. So we're going to see they're going to send off Sherba for the remainder of this one. Just 50 seconds to go. Foster, who got tackled, is not sure where he's going. They're going to send him off. So we get some shenanigans to end this one.
And if this Christopher Scott goal does count, I mean, what a move freezing the goaltender.
Lena Kay getting you shots of the Kennesaw State bench. Sounds like a lot of, those seagulls in the movie Finding Nemo? That's what this sounds like right now.
Yes, they're looking for calls. And if you're Kennesaw, you're trying to stay clean, stay out of this, not garner any suspensions that will affect the next game for you. And
I think they just called it. Yes, they gave the goal. Chris Scott. A great move. Has a goal and an assist in this one.
As the goal horn goes off here on the mezzanine rink.
And I stand corrected, 2 goals for him, but I believe he picked up an assist somewhere in the middle. Well, Danny Bohm says it may not count. Oh, man. Come on. Who do we blame for that one?
They let him go through the handshake line, and
They blew the horn, let the handshake line go. I think the officials initially told him it's a good goal and then reversed it.
yeah, and head official over here at the score table said the whistle blew before, and so it'll once again be a 4-goal lead for Kennesaw.
He's robbed. That was a beautiful move to free shine, as you mentioned. Boy, what a Kennesaw State team. Led by Kyle Stevenson in his 3rd season. Such a great story. One of those teams, when we saw them lose to Florida Atlantic M3 earlier this year, you didn't know 1-5 start that they would be in the spot they are. They're going to win a playoff game. And with a bunch of graduating guys and even talent returning, this is one of the premier programs in college hockey south developing.
And a lot of it starts with a number of these guys played juniors together before they even got to Kennesaw. So there's a bunch of chemistry. Normally, you come into a new team, you've got to learn lines. A lot of these guys played on lines together, know each other, played on that fire team.
And, you know, that's something Kyle Stevenson pointed out to us, is that this group really was started and led by Owen Foster. Been here for 5 years, a guy that Kyle Stevenson takes a lot of pride in. Coached him with the Atlanta Fire for 2 years. He helped this team out by coaching them. They were in a really bad spot. I think they had a year where they only won about 8 games. And Foster brought in one guy and brought in another. In Georgia, that area, Kennesaw, it's a very tight-knit group with just a handful of junior programs. And you see some of that homegrown blood making do with what they have and then some. They have so much talent on this team. Race Legault, Christian Sousa, James Kravis, Chris Scott, the list goes on. And they're a scary team to play right now. 43 seconds to go. There is an owl sitting in the box. That is Joseph Alvarez, but it's really all for naught. Kennesaw State is going to win their 13th game of the year, including playoffs. While Tennessee's chances at getting redemption after winning 3 state are going to end. They'll fall in the same score they did a semester ago, 6-2. Unless they can answer in the final 10 seconds. The hat trick for Reese Legault. Evan Pritchard's his 7th straight win and goal. And Kennesaw State is moving on. The Owls, an emphatic 6-2 win as the number 8 seed take down number 9 seed Tennessee.
What a game by this Owls team. Started off a little slow, finally got into it in the second period and never looked back. And what a game by Pritchard, showing why he's 7-0 on the season, has one of the lowest GAAs across all divisions in CHS as they get set for the handshake line at center ice.
And 4 unanswered goals to finish this game for the Owls, who played masterfully in that third. It was a tight one going down the stretch. Dylan Siegel with a goal. Great effort tonight from Seth Hagen. Just 7 points on the year for the Nashville, Tennessee native for the Vols. And they made it interesting, but Tennessee just didn't have the depth to keep up with this Kennesaw State group. And they didn't have an answer all night for Reese Legault. Finishes with the hat trick on day 1. And that will do it for us on the mezzanine rink today. Thank you so much to our great production staff, our camera woman, Lena Kay, Gavin Coker on color, of course, Danny Bohm running the sticks, an all-star team that makes this College Hockey South playoff happen. So we're just about ready to send it off. Final numbers coming in now. Tennessee finished 0 for 3 on the man advantage, and Kennesaw State finished 2 for 4 on the power play. So for everybody here, my name is Devin Serra. Thank you so much for watching this first round play-in game. Kennesaw State takes down Tennessee 6-2 here on the mezzanine rink. Thanks so much. Have a great rest of your night.